Hello, I'm Bob Gardner, Commissioner of the Indiana High School Athletic Association, and I'd like to tell you about a friend to the over 160,000 student athletes in the state of Indiana, Farm Bureau Insurance. Farm Bureau Insurance has contributed over $3 million in the past 10 years to the success of the programs for the student athletes of Indiana. You might not know that Farm Bureau Insurance is the exclusive corporate sponsor of the IHSA, but you would definitely know it if they weren't. We'd like to thank Farm Bureau Insurance for their support of all of our student athletes and their programs.
The 1999 Boys Basketball State Championships. Brought to you by New Region Corn Insecticide and the One Pass system. From now on, this is how it's done. By Balanced Pre-Corn Herbicide. Weeds don't get a second chance. By Anderson Windows. Worry-proof, time-proof Anderson Windows. And by Cargill, an international marketer, processor, and distributor of agricultural, food, financial, and industrial products.
Live from the RCA Dome, we continue on Championship Saturday. Two first-timers to the IHSAA State Finals, Westview versus Paoli. We have already crowned one state champion. That was Class 1A with the Tecumseh Braves. Great game here set up because these two teams have been so strong. Westview advances, defeating the defending state champion in this class last week, Alexandria. Meanwhile, Paoli, all they did, George, upset the top two ranked teams in their own semi-state.
Quite a weekend for this Paoli ball club. Beat the number one and number two, but again, that doesn't automatically mean they'll win this ball game. They'll have to come out and prove it with a good, solid effort.
Westview Warriors feel like they can certainly get in the way, in part because their go-to guy, Hostetler, has been very hot.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's a 5'11" senior, Scott Hostetler, averages 12 points a game. He had 24 in the semi-state against a very good Alexandria team. As you can see, a very good free throw shooter as well.
Hostetler, terrific all-around player. Meanwhile, the Paoli Rams will look inside to 6'6" senior center Tristan Vance.
Yeah, really good, tough inside player, 6'6" senior, averages 13 points, 6 rebounds, and he'll have to have a good, solid effort in the paint this afternoon for Paoli.
What about the Dodge keys to the game? Let's talk about the Westview Warriors to start things off.
Westview will have to apply pressure, especially earlier on in this ball game. And again, good ball movement is going to be certainly a huge key.
And for the Paoli Rams.
Paoli, a big physical ball club, so they should control the board and force this Westview team to drive and not shoot the open jump shots because they shoot it extremely well.
Alongside George McGinnis, I'm Ron Sexton. Right now, let's check in on the baseline with our own Bob Lovell, standing by with both head coaches.
Well, in the 2A matchup, two ball clubs pretty evenly matched, very, very similar in styles. Troy Neely from Westview, you look at this matchup, what's your ball club have to do to win this championship this afternoon?
Well, I think we need to settle down, number one. You know, that first game, the guys came out really nervous, missing easy shots, and I just think we need to get settled as soon as we can. And then we got to do the fundamentals. We got to rebound. We got to also control turnovers, and we got to get enough shots inside that we can score with instead of taking all threes.
We wish you the best. Mike Brown, the head coach at Paoli. Mike, depth has been the big key to your ball club all year long. It's what's gotten you here. It's what has to be there for you to win the championship.
Well, you can't change anything now. You wouldn't be here if you weren't doing the right things. And we're going to play 9 guys the first quarter, and hopefully our depth will help a little bit.
The rugged style you play is a factor. Officiating, if they allow you to play, is a big factor in the game.
If we can make it a football game, that would be fine with us. I mean, we are in the Hoosier Dome here, and there is some football played here now and then, so that would be fine.
Mike Brown, Troy Neely, best of luck. Great matchup in 2A. It'll be a battle.
Thank you, Bob. And for Paoli, they come in with a 12-game winning streak, the longest winning streak of any team here today on Championship Saturday. The introductions are next for the Class 2A state finals. We continue live from the RCA Dome. This is the Class 2A State Championship. Tecumseh captured the 1A affair. For the introductions between Westview and Paoli, let's rejoin the public address announcer at the RCA Dome, Mr. Scott Gregg.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the RCA Dome and Indianapolis for the 89th Annual Indiana High School Athletic Association Boys Basketball State Finals. Our game this afternoon is for the Class 2A State Championship and features the Paoli Rams and the Westview Warriors. Here are your rosters and starting lineups for today's game. First for the Westview Warriors. Number 15, Chris Ponce. Number 21, Adam Bontrager. Number 23, Dwayne Weaver. Number 25, Jason Yoder. Number 33, Michael Christner. Number 35, Randy Miller. Number 43, Jeff Falk. And the starting lineup for the Warriors of Westview High School. At one guard, a 6-foot junior, number 11, Mark Miller. At the other guard, a 5-foot 10-inch junior, number 13, Eric Yoder. At forward, a 6-foot 1-inch junior, number 31, Derek Yoder. At forward, a 5-foot 11-inch senior, number 41, Scott Hostetler. At the center, a 6-foot 3-inch junior, number 51, Jeff Nelson. Head coach of the 22-3 Warriors, Troy Neely.
This is
Paoli Rams. Number 20, Travis Cole. Number 24, Evan Seacat. Number 30, Brian Wolf. Number 32, Josh Thomas. Number 34, David McDonald. Number 42, Joby Stevenson. Number 44, Ryan Chastain. And the starting lineup for the Rams of Paoli High School at one guard, a 5'11" senior, number 12, Michael Harmon. At guard, a 6-foot senior, number 14, Dusty Cole. At forward, a 6'5" junior, number 40, Derek Van Ennem. At forward, a 6'1" senior, number 50, Luke Kimmel. And the center, a 6'6" senior, number 52, Tristan Vance. Head coach of the 22-4 Rams, Mike Brown.
And with the introductions, we're set for live play-by-play. That is next for the 2A State Championship, and we continue live from the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. The Pontiac Pack starting lineups. See a lot of Yoders on this Westview team. Not a single one related. Mark Miller and Eric in the backcourt. Derek Yoder, the prettiest shot his coach has ever seen. One of the forwards, along with Scott Hostetler and Jeff Nelson in the middle. For the Paoli Rams, their starting five comprised of Mike Harmon and Dusty Cole in the backcourt. Cole's a 53% shooter from the floor. Derek Van Emmen and Luke Kimmel. The forwards, the center is Tristan Vance, truly their go-to guy in the clutch. And that was a story in the semi-state last week. Tristan Vance, 22 points against Monrovia. Your officials for today's game, Rick Owens and Mark Wise. 2A is underway, controlled by Paoli. Paoli football team, George. Half the team of basketball team, rather, half the team's football players have come over to try this game.
Well, they definitely bring a big physical presence now. The key for them is to be able to take advantage of that size, look to get some things inside.
Rams begin with a turnover to start this game. Westview, their first ever appearance in a finals game, and it's Hostetler to get things started, his first two.
Had to pick up full pressure here after a made bucket.
Hostetler thought he blocked the shot against Dusty Cole, but they called a foul. That's Scott's first and the team's first.
Westview foul number 41, Scott
Take a look here.
His first
Hostetler picks up that foul. Good call by the official. Dusty Cole with a two-shot opportunity.
Dusty is a senior. His younger brother Travis comes off the bench for Mike Brown. Good shooter at the line. And the Rams trail by just one. Hostetler again feels it. Rebound controlled by Michael Harmon for the Rams. Say these teams will play a very similar style here today, and certainly Westview will not let up with the defensive pressure. That's how they got here. This is Tristan Vance who had it stripped down low. The Rams recovered. Not every starter played on the football team. There's a tight end with it now. That's Luke Kimmel in the corner.
Both teams really getting after each other, playing a pretty physical style ball game to this point. As a big fella, Tristan Vance gets it inside for the sweet little kiss.
Gives his team a 3-2 lead. Meanwhile, Jeff Nelson responds for Westview with his first two.
Both these teams, neither one of these teams, that is, doesn't mind getting up and down the court in transition. All-out pressure against Westview Warriors.
Slightly different pace, George, from what we witnessed in that 1A affair, yet that was by design for Tecumseh in their first title. This game will wrap up the day session here today. That's Derek Yoder with the steal.
Oh, nice look.
And Hostetler gets it to drop. Actually, that was Mark Miller with the steal, but Hostetler comes through again for Westview. Scott has 4 already in this game. Just underway, Westview on top, 6-3 against Paoli. We mentioned last week the Rams upset number 1 and number 2. Both of those games, George, were in double overtime.
Very big emotional win for this Paoli ball club, but again, there's a job at hand to do here. They certainly are the favorite in this ball game, but to this point, Westview's done a nice job with the pressure defense, up and down the court basketball, a nice little inside play.
Hostetler from Nelson. Scott has 6 points. And the Warriors pick it off. That's Derek Yoder with the interception. And this is Hostetler. His first look from outside the arc comes up short. Let's check in with Bob Lovell, who has some information on team unity for Paoli. Bob. We'll check in with Bob momentarily. We see the Rams wearing the white armbands. Van Immen misses 1 point blank. And here comes Westview. Mark Miller on the reception. Doesn't even see the bucket and it drops.
What a nice circus shot Miller was able to make that time. Westview really looks to get into a number situation as we see they take a look up the court, find Mark Miller does a little circus underneath shot that was able to get the hoop and the harm. Good play there by the Westview Warriors.
Mark had 10 points against Freeman in the semi-state early game last week. Very unselfish team. You'll see a lot of guys score, and that's been displayed early on. This is Luke Kimmel. Hostetler strips it away.
Well, right now, Paoli is playing at the pace that Westview wants. They need to really come down and look for better opportunities. Get into an up-and-down ball game with Westview. That's what they want.
Jason Yoder on the miss. Vance clears. And we have an offensive foul going against Travis Cole.
If you're Paoli, you really want little bit slower pace, a grinding out type situation where you can pound it inside, look to take advantage of your size and strength. That time, excellent position by the Westview there, picks up the charging foul.
Foul on Cole, his first. Each team with two team fouls early on. Warriors on a 9-0 run in the last 3 minutes as we work in the first quarter of the Class 2A state championship game. This is Jason Yoder with the basketball.
Have 3 Yoders on this ball club, and they're not related.
Not related. Westview from up in Amish country. Hostetler misses from the block. They say you can expect in most Westview home games 50 to 60 buggies outside the gymnasium. David McDonald, who just checked in, and the errant pass stolen from the Warriors. Derek Yoder on the pull-up.
So they said this kid had a beautiful looking jump shot. That time he's displayed it. Good balance, good release.
Counted for David McDonald. If he looks like a linebacker or a fullback, that's because he is.
So now this kid looks like he's tough. No, one thing, he's very physical. David McDonald, that time he was able to get inside of the Westview defense. Nice inside look. Nice finish there. Left-handed player, shoots it up there with the left hand.
The foul is on Scott Hostetler, which is key because that's his second. McDonald fails to convert at the foul line. So it's now an 11-0 run for Westview. They lead 13-5 against Paoli. This is Bontrager in trouble against a trap. That's trouble when you find Yoder that wide open.
He's got time to set like that. He's got just a beautiful jump shot, and he's able to knock down the open looks when he has time.
Derek with 5 points in this game. A 14-0 run. The Paoli Rams are trying to answer at this point. This is Dusty Cole, who finds his brother.
You know, I love the energy of this Westfield team. It really reminds you of a Rick Pitino coach ball club. They really like to get after you all over the court, especially after made buckets, force you into turnovers. Then they try and take advantage of those turnovers by putting the ball in transition as they do now and look for a good opportunity.
It's another steal. Look at that nice find inside, but the bucket won't count. Jeff Fought walk with the basketball, and we have a timeout. 2:26 left here in the first quarter. Ron Sexton joined by George McGinnis. Paoli has turned it over 6 times, and they trail by 11. Derek Yoder off to a quick start, averages 12 points per game for Westview. His first bucket of the game, followed that with a 3. If he gets hot, Paoli might be in trouble. You see the Rams already.
Paoli now going into a little zone defense. They really got stepped out with the pressure on it as well.
Good ball handling. Turns into Westview's first turnover. Foul will roll against Jason Yoder, rather. Let's check in with Bob Lovell.
Well, Ron, Troy Neely at the break telling his ball club against the pressure, look high, kick out, try to find that spotted three-point shooter. If you can imagine, he also told his kids, we're not playing as hard as we can defensively. We need to turn up our defensive effort. I think they played pretty well defensively right now, but he's wanting him to pick it up even more.
Certainly has flustered Paoli from one regard, in that they've turned it over 6 times. That was Seacat with a long look from way out, but they recover inside thanks to Joby Stevenson. His first 2, 16-7, Westview on top. The one thing the Warriors can do, George, is shoot, in part because Troy Neely, their head coach, led this state in scoring back in 1980 at Jimtown High School.
Well, you really got to like the effort, and after the timeout that Paoli Rams came out with. Now, they really stepped up the defense, stepped it out of the notch. Look, the kids are coming almost out to the center court to pick up.
They'll seldom miss the open look. This is Bontrager. No foul call there. Mike Christner fell to the floor and missed his first look of this game. David McDonald under some pressure. They say Stevenson walked with it. Tristan Vance checks back in for Paoli. Scott Hostetler back into the game. Hostetler playing with 2 fouls. He'll inbounds for Westview. You look at the history between these two, it's each their first appearance in the final, yet Paoli has won 6 regionals in their school's history. And they finally break through the semi-state this year, and it took a lot of work, as we mentioned off the top. This is Christner going baseline.
Paoli is one of the early members of the ISHAA, I think, since 1905. So this high school really has a lot of history. They're getting themselves back in this ball game with well-deserved effort on the defensive end. That's creating some good opportunities down there for them. Another good defensive stop.
Seacat gets his first 2 for Paoli the last time down. Let's see who they go to now. Dusty Cole, who misses from outside. Look at the pass from Hostetler. This is Adam Bontrager. Hostetler goes up to get it. So tough inside. I believe they waved off the bucket.
Scott Hostetler, awful aggressive. That was just pure effort. He wanted that ball more than anyone else who went after it. And Westview is going to get the ball out of bounds. And good, tough kid, Scott Hostetler.
First foul on Tristan Vance, a 13 foul for Paoli. The Warriors playing with 14 fouls. Closing seconds of the first quarter. Christner can't hit it. And Seacat gives it a heave the other way as time expires after the first quarter. Good affair underway. Westview 16, the Paoli Rams 9. This is for the Class 2A state championship at the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. Westview on top of Paoli 16-9 as we begin play here in the second quarter. Kevin Neely, or Troy Neely rather, is 4th year as head coach at Westview. We mentioned he led the state in scoring at Jimtown in 1980. He said that he's got a team of midgets, George, if they don't grow them over 6'3" up north.
Well, evidently he knows how to teach them to put the ball in the bucket. They've done a nice job to this point, but Paoli is doing a nice job of the defensive end, coming up with some steals and getting themselves back into this ball game. This is shaping up to be a terrific game.
Dusty Cole gets his first bucket of the game for the Rams. It's now a 5-point lead for Westview. You ask where Westview is. It's in LaGrange County, the far northeast corner of the state, up in Amish country again. This is Hostetler from outside. And we have a foul going the other way. This one going against Mark Miller.
Westview foul, number 11, Mark Miller, his first.
So a long drive for these Westview fans following the Big Red here today at the RCA Dome. It's Miller's first foul and the 5th on the Warriors. Hands in the passing lanes, keys for both teams here. Well, this is full court basketball. Pretty good contrast from what we witnessed in the 1A affair. Hostetler.
Oh, tough move by Scott Hostetler. Splits the defenders there. Good athletic move.
He has 8 to lead Westview, again playing with 2 fouls here in the first half. Tristan Vance finds Luke Kimmel with the left hand.
50,
Kimmel with his first 2. Derek Yoder will seldom miss a look like that. Converted a big 4-point play in the semi-state last week, and Troy Neely said that's something they practice. They want bodies on shooters in practice because certainly that's what they're seeing here today. Knew it would be a very physical affair against Paoli.
Paoli has really stepped up their defense here. Done a very nice job. You know, this Westview team really, Westview, shoots the ball extremely well from the perimeter. Paoli has been basically in his zone throughout the entirety of this ball game, but they've been able to do a good job of defending the perimeter shot because they've really stepped out defensively. Again, another good defensive effort by Paoli.
It was Travis Cole with the block, who just committed his second foul a moment ago. Blocked the shot of Hostetler. Clean block, and now with the basketball. Rams trail by 5. Look at that defense. Mark Miller, Jeff Nelson on the trap.
I think a big key for both of these clubs, Ron, is that you really got to move the basketball. If you hold the basketball too long, it gives either team an opportunity to double team and cause some problems. So good quick movement of the basketball is very important for both of these ball clubs.
Michael Harmon out near the timeline, nearly an over a back. Vance on the miss. It was triple team. Warriors 1 of 9 from three-point range. And Nelson walks on his way to the bucket. I have a tendency to say, or believe that their tendency is to make more of those shots, and certainly that might turn around if they continue to get good looks from outside. But a slow start for the Warriors from three-point range to get this game underway. Westview remaining on top of the 5-point lead. This is Michael Harmon trying to break the press. It certainly has to be a team effort. Derek Van Emmen with his first three.
Take a look at the turnovers. Paoli, 8. Westview only 3, but Paoli's getting themselves back into this ball game because now they've turned up the defense with effort.
And the Warriors now 1 of 10 from outside the arc. It's Derek Yoder with another rare miss. Deficit down to 2. As Luke Kimmel operates. Finally trying to find Tristan Vance inside. One of the concerns for Westview coming in, we know Paoli is a very physical team with half their team playing football, as you see David McDonald, number 34, check in.
Well, again, this team has a way of wearing on you. You know, they're so big and strong. You know, after the course of a game, after being leaned on for so long by these big guys, it starts to take an effect. And you can see this game now slowly starting to change because of good inside play by Paoli and, of course, a great defensive effort. Oh, my, what a great shot that was.
Mark Miller for Westview. Giving the Warriors a 2-point lead. They're back on top. And Seacat walks. Miller forces the turnover on the other end.
What a terrific move there by Mark Miller. Actually lost the control of the basketball, was able to regather in the air and put it up and in for the deuce.
Westview leading by 2. First ever finals appearance for this team in the history of their county. LaGrange County way up north. Paoli rallied to upset the #1 team in 2A last week. Yoder leaves it short. Nelson cleans it up.
Yoder now just looks like he's straining a bit from the three-point line. Everything seems to be coming up just a tad short. Should take his time just a tad more.
Check in with Bob Lovell with the word on Paoli.
You saw it right there, Ron. The big factor that Paoli's working on is to try to clear out the defense, allow Tristan Vance to post up as much as possible. On the defensive end, Mike Brown telling his kids, just go at him. Go as hard as you can go. We're going to press him. You get tired. Our depth is what's gotten us here. You're tired. We'll keep rotating bodies in and out, but try to get the ball inside to the big man like we have all year long.
And Vance has 4 points in this game. Meanwhile, the Warriors are 1 of some 12 attempts from outside the arc. This is Seacat from the corner. And Nelson clears for Westview.
So Westview now is looking, I think, to take way too many threes. They're settling for that shot, and they're not hitting them. They hit them a little bit earlier on in this ball game. They're not hitting them now. They need more ball movement and better quality looks.
As a team, Westview is a 37% shooting team from three-point range. Far cry from what we've seen displayed here in the first half. Paoli has battled through the pressure. They trail by just 2. Despite being on the wrong side of the turnover category here early on. Vance has been effective on back-to-back possessions. Battling Nelson down low. This is David McDonald with a nice swing to Seacat. Evan has it blocked, goes again, still can't get it. And it's cleared by Jason Yoder for the Warriors. Mark Miller tries a three. Hostetler on the follow. This is Derek Yoder. And Tristan Vance clears. A freebie for David McDonald. And the linebacker scores. Tie game at 22. Well, it's been quantity over quality for Westview.
Yeah, it certainly has. Paoli's done a nice job of getting their big fella involved. Tristan Vance has done a nice job off the glass, and now they're coming up with some turnovers. What a nice inside presence that Paoli has had, both on the defensive and offensive end. And now they're starting to wear on this Westview team somewhat.
16 foul on Westview, or on Paoli rather, and the first on David McDonald. Certainly Westview would like to get the ball up and down the floor, and while there's something to be said about a tempo and trying to set that tempo, they really chucked up a lot of shots when perhaps it would have been better off to reset the offense with the kind of offensive rebounding they've had here in this first half. They'll look back upon this first half and really be startled at the shooting percentage and see a lot of possessions that were up in smoke, so to speak. Hostetler has been effective from the start, and he's the guy we previewed off the top. Number 41 for the Westview Warriors. Said he almost quit after his sophomore season, but his buddies talked him back into it and finds himself today playing for a state championship. We have a timeout. 23-22, Westview leading by 1 for the Class 2A state championship as Mark Miller provides the highlight of the first half. We're back live courtside. Ron Sexton, George McGinnis, and Bob Lovell. Class 2A state championship continues for the Westview Warriors so far. Scott Hostetler off to a quick start. Westview shooting, though, just 36%. Meanwhile, Paoli 53% from the floor.
Really like the way Tristan Vance keeps the ball above his head. He doesn't bring it down for the big guys who can get it. Just when he rebounds or outlet pass or even shooting, he loves to keep the ball above his head, and Paoli takes the lead for the first time in this ball game.
Van Emmen now with 5 points in this game. We'll see if there's any change in the Westview shot selection. They are 1 of 12 from three-point range to start this game. Yet they've gotten here with strong three-point shooting, so it's certainly something they won't abandon. Christner tries it, and we set him up for his first three. To say they were due would certainly be an understatement. Vance gets bumped.
They call Tristan Vance there for the offensive foul.
His second, team 7. 42.
Here's another look. Because this is one guy you can't afford to see foul trouble. That's his second.
Yeah, you don't want him in foul trouble. Good job, Coach Michael Brown, getting him out of the ball game, and don't need to be picking up his third only with 46 seconds to go in this third quarter.
Your team's leading scorer and rebounder, and now Troy Neely wants a 20-second timeout. 46 seconds left to play before halftime. Westview leads 26-24. Just a look at the Westview huddle. This is a Class 2A affair. Coming up tonight from the RCA Dome, 3A and 4A games at Muncie Southside opposing Plainfield. The Quakers of Plainfield bring in the tournament's best record at 25-1. And later on tonight, the Elkhart Central Blue Blazers return to the state finals. They'll oppose North Central, making their first ever appearance.
For the 6th time, Elkhart will be in a state final. Never been able to win one. That should be a great matchup tonight.
A freebie for Eric Yoder, but he's fouled in pursuit by Luke Kimmel. The second on Kimmel. And Paoli's 7th team foul.
Kimmel, his second, team's 8.
A couple extra dribbles, it looked like trying to find the angle there, George. Otherwise, he converts.
Yes, sir. He just couldn't get that finish, but he's got a 2-shot opportunity.
Eric Yoder's on the board with that free throw. Averages 5 points per game. Again, you have Eric Yoder, Derek Yoder, and Jason Yoder.
No relation.
No relation, not brothers, not cousins, just teammates. Just over 30 seconds left here before halftime. Westview has opened up a 4-point lead now. Seacat gives it up to Michael Harmon, who lost it to Adam Bontrager, coming away with it for the Warriors.
Let's see if Westview will hold for the last shot. Only 20 seconds here. They're up by 4, 28-24. Second quarter of play. Looks like they're going to look to get the last opportunity.
Sometimes they get off 3 or 4 looks in this amount of time. Christner in trouble. Finds the open man. Randy Miller at the buzzer. 31-24. Randy Miller averages just 2 points per game. He's topped that already. The Warriors go out with a bang to close out the first half, 31-24, despite a wretched first half from outside the arc. Bob Lovell.
Hey, Troy, great run at the end of the half. Your defense had carried you all the way. You hadn't shot the ball well, but that last little run gives you a big lift.
Yeah, the reason we haven't shot well is because we're thinking outside in. I told them before the game, we got to go inside out. We're taking too many threes, and I think in the last 2 minutes there, they did take the ball to the basket there a little better.
Got to also continue this defensive pressure. Done a great job with it.
That's right. We're letting them get away. They're releasing the guy, and we got to get that taken care of this half. Here,
good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Troy Neely is 4th year at Westview High School. His team leads. We're at halftime. The Class 2A state championship live from the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. Westview Warriors, first ever state finals appearance, likewise for the Paoli Rams, and we're at halftime. Although Paoli, if you look back in their school history, won far more sectional titles, and they've been to the semi-state. This year was their 6th trip to the semi-state, so certainly they're trying to make the most of it. Now finally getting here to the state finals. For Westview, here's their road to the Dome and Turney Trail. Westview sectional. Big wins by 16, then by 4 over Fairfield, and no trouble with Central Noble. In the Garrett Regional, they advanced past Leo, and in the Marion Semi-State, knocked off Bremen. They were 19-7 at the time, 76-52. Host Stettler and Nelson combined for 26 points, and then they cap it off by defeating the defending 2A champions Gart Cone and his Alexandria team 68-65. Host Stettler lit up the Tigers with a game-high 24 points. The road to the Dome for the Paoli Rams. They bring in the longest winning streak here to Championship Saturday. In their own sectional, they advance past Mitchell, number 9 Eastern. Bloomfield ranked 9th overall, a close call there. And then North Knox was 18-4 at the time. They said that was really a key win along the way. Evansville Mater Dei, a victim in the Southridge Regional, and on to the Southridge Semi-State, where here's the story of maybe the tournament. Look at this proposition. You upset number 2, number 1, both in double overtime. In each game, they trailed by 7 in the final 2 minutes and 5 of the final 2 minutes, respectively, in those games. So maybe their hardest part of this tournament's behind them.
Well, they seem to play better when they're behind, so they're certainly behind in this ball game. I thought they played a lot better in the second quarter. They picked it up defensively, stepped it out some. But then again, Westview came back. They knocked down a three-pointer, got one right before the half. They lead this ball game, but we've got a good ball game here. And this, there's a lot of different things that can happen. I think the team that comes out, handles the ball the best, makes the least mistakes, and shoots the ball will win it.
This is, we mentioned Mike Brown's 6th trip to a semi-state this year. He said of all the teams he's had advanced to a semi-state, this being the only one that's advanced to the finals, that this team has least talent of any other compared, although they have more heart compared to those other teams.
I think both of these teams have shown tremendous will and effort and getting after each other, and a pretty up-tempo ball game, which is, I think, good from a viewer's point of view. And I just think that this is going to be a terrific ball game before it's all said and done.
We'll take a timeout and check in with Bob Lovell on the baseline after this. We're at halftime, the Class 2A state championship. The Warriors of Westview on top, 31-24. Westview leading at halftime 31-24 over Paoli. Ron Sexton, George McGinnis, and on the baseline, the coach, Bob Lovell, with the special guest.
Ron, the head coach at Union of Duggar High School, Joe Hardy, coaches the state's leading scorer, Brody Boyd. And Joe, your impressions of that first half, a big flurry at the end, obviously a big boost for Westview as they go into halftime.
They played, most of the first half. You would have thought the score was real close, maybe 1 point. You thought Westfield was up by 10. They just didn't, finish plays. But then at the end, they hit a couple big threes, and they got a comfortable lead now, I believe.
You look at the flow of the ball game, and you're looking at both teams trying to push one another, try to press and match the press and the intensity. That's been a factor. Paoli hasn't handled the pressure as well as Westview has, and Paoli really has not capitalized on some opportunities inside up front with their big kids.
They've had the ball inside quite a few times and haven't scored, and that really hurts. And then you have to come back on the other end and defend. It makes for a long game.
If you're in the locker room at halftime with Mike Brown, if you're Mike Brown, what are you telling your kids?
You're going to have to do a little better job handling the ball against their pressure, and you're going to have to finish plays.
One thing too, you're going to have to come down. You're going to have to get you're going to have to get much better work inside defensively. Too many second chance opportunities, especially off the long three. I mean, Westview shoots the three a lot, and long rebound opportunities.
That makes it hard to do because, your big kids are used to playing inside, and they're going to have to box out a lot better.
Let's talk about Brody Boyd, state's leading scorer. Thank goodness he comes back. He's going to make you look like a good coach next year.
Well, I hope so. I've been wanting to be a good coach for a long time. Brody averaged about 31.5 for us this year and did a tremendous job. He really works hard at his game, and we've got 4 of our starters back, so we're really looking forward to next year.
Joe, thanks a lot. Ron, the state's leading scorer's head coach. This is Joe Hart from Union Duggar High School.
Thank you, Bob. We're at halftime. We already have one state champion, Tecumseh. Who will it be in Class 2A? We'll find out. Second half coming up. We continue with the McDonald's halftime show, getting you set for the second half of the 2A state championship game. I'm Ron Sexton, courtside, along by George McGinnis. And George, let's take a look at some of the highlights of this first half. We'll start with Scott Hostetler on the drive, who had 9 points in this first half to lead all scorers.
Yeah, he was outstanding, did a lot of nice things, and here's one of them. Watch him split the defenders. Nice little kiss off the glass for the deuce for Scott Hostetler.
We'll call this the Mark Miller miracle.
Well, this is able to lose it, regather, and still, that's all about concentration to get that play finished. Nice play there by Mark Miller.
He had 5 points and 3 assists in the first half. Now we'll look at Paoli. Tristan Vance clears.
Nice
David McDonald.
Yes, nice outlet pass there, and that was all triggered by Vance, and McDonald is the end result of that easy little deuce.
And Luke Kimmel on the receiving end right here.
Nice bounce pass and a great finish with the left hand. Both of these teams done some really good things there in the first half, and even though the Warriors or Rams, are down 24-31, I think this is going to end up being a terrific ball game before it's all over, said and done. So take a look at first half stats.
Some of the numbers and three-point percentage for Westview. They have, been aplenty from outside the arc in that first half, but that's part of their game. We heard their head coach say before the break they want to start inside and work outside. We'll see what Mike Brown has to say about his Paoli Rams, and we'll visit with Bob Lovell here momentarily as he awaits the arrival of Mike Brown from halftime. But there's a story here in the first half. Turnovers 11-3. Paoli far too many in the first half.
Yes, and that's really the story of this particular ball game, as it was in the first one. Turnovers and points off. And of course, Westview has been able to convert a lot of those points. Turnovers into points, and Paoli must do a better job of taking care of the basketball in the second half of play.
5 lead changes, 2 ties. Here's Bob Lovell with Mike Brown.
Mike, that second half flurry at the end of the first half, that flurry had to really hurt you.
Well, it did. That last 3 hurt us. They had the right guy taking the shot. We have got to do a better job of attacking their press. I think we tried early to slow it down, set things up, and get it inside, but we just got to go after their press. There's some shots to be had there. Do a little better job on the boards. It took us a little while to get going. Once we did, we make a good run of it, and if you take that 3 away at the half, we're in pretty good shape. So
you got to attack them inside. You got to take advantage of Vance's second half.
Well, we do. Against the press, it's hard to take the time to get it in there, but we're going to set him on the back end of it and try to do a little better job when we break the press and get it straight into him.
Mike, one of the other things about it, you got to take care of the basketball. You also got to come up those long rebounds in their threes.
Well, anytime you have tight rims like this and team that's going to shoot a lot of threes, blocking out really doesn't mean a whole lot, and we do. We've got to come up with the long rebounds. We've got to do a better job of handling the press, but I think we will in the second half.
I wish you the best.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Bob Lovell. From one coach to another. Let's take a look at the leading scorers from this first half on your screen. And again, Scott Hostetler leads all scores for the Westview Warriors.
Pretty much decent contributions from three of the Paoli players, Vance, Van Edom, and Seacat. Scott Hostetler, of course, has been outstanding for Westview.
Playing with 2 fouls, so we'll see if he picks up an early one, if that plays any effect here in the second half. Hostetler actually has 9 for the record, not 13 here in the first half. And for Paoli, you heard Mike Brown talk about the importance of feeding Tristan Vance. He's your leading scorer and your leading rebounder. He should be tuckered after this game, so they want to keep him busy, not only in the scoring category, but on the glass as well. This Westview team, very scrappy team, a team that likes to shoot. And again, letting them fly from 3-point range, but that's how they got here. We looked at the tournament trail earlier. A very good shooting team from outside the arc. Westview is 37% on the year. They're a 75% team at the foul line and 45% from the floor. And their head coach, Troy Neely, was a shooter himself. Led the state in scoring back in 1980 for Jimtown High School. And his junior starters on his team have started since their freshman season. Only 4 seniors. They know how to shoot. Westview located about 20 miles southeast of Elkhart. And we'll see Elkhart Central tonight in the 4A affair. Westview leading 31-24 here at halftime as we get set for the second half of action. Let's check back in with Bob Lovell and see if he can explain to us the meaning behind the white armbands on these Paoli Rams.
Well, Ron, one of the things the southwestern Indiana, very close-knit communities, and the Paoli kids, very close friends with an athlete in Orleans a year ago, was tragically killed in a car crash, and out of respect and in his memory, they started doing this a year ago and have continued, and that explains those white armbands. Later, I'll have an explanation for the black socks on the right feet of the Westview Ball Club.
He catches every detail, doesn't he? That's Bob Lovell on the baseline for us this afternoon. Second half underway, the Class 2A state championship. Tecumseh has already captured a state title here today in 1A. Derek Yoder leaves it short again. Harmon rebounds and finds Dusty Cole going the other way. Paoli opens up the second half. It's 31-26. The Rams trail. Hands in the passing lanes again. Frisky defense by Paoli to start things off. This is Jeff Nelson who's fouled. Nelson will go to the line. 79% shooter from the foul line.
Take a look here at Jeff Nelson. Nice little pump fake, shows the ball. Was able to get Tristan Vance, I think it was, up in the air. And
that's his third.
Foul opportunity, and boy, that hurts Paoli. The big guy going out of the ball game with 3 fouls. And those are the ones you just, if you're big, you just want to get your hands in the air. Don't get your feet off the ground.
They were hoping that Vance could start off as a gravy train to the bucket here in the second half, but won't be the case on the bench. David McDonald comes in, who's a physical player, but certainly not the scoring threat of a Tristan Vance. So their leading scorer and rebounder is on the bench. Under a minute here underway in the second half.
They always moving the ball extremely well. The way you beat pressure defense is good, quick, crisp ball movement. Done that. Excellent straight-up defense here by Westview. Man-to-man.
Normally they have that target inside with Vance posted, but not the case here, so we'll see how their guard play handles the defensive pressure.
This is a good pressure by Paoli, and excellent straight-up defense here by Westview.
Kimmel on a scramble. Finds Dusty Cole. This is David McDonald. Van Emmen back to McDonald now. somehow finds his way up. Not a tall guy, but that's a powerful frame.
Yes, he does got a powerful frame.
George, he squats 400 pounds, and Mitch is 250. Mark Miller misses point blank, but Nelson follows. Nelson has 7 for Westview. They lead by 6. McDonald again. Gets his own and follows. David McDonald has 8. The average is just 3 points per game. They'll need more of that with McDonald substituting for Tristan Vance. If you're going to foul David McDonald at the bucket, you better have both arms.
Yeah, you better get him good.
And saddle him up. Van Emmen thought about it. Paoli appears to have upped the pace here in the second half. Dusty Cole, no foul on that shot. Derek Yoder comes away for the Warriors.
Nice little pass there. Westview not able to get that play finished. Well, look at these kids really getting after it, going toe-to-toe. This is like a big heavyweight championship fight. Both teams giving maximum effort. Love that.
Miller had the look. It was a nice pass from Hostetler, but rolled off the rim. You wouldn't believe the number of point-blank missed shots we had in the 1A game earlier today. Really destroyed any chance for Lafayette Central Catholic High School, and the Knights also had multiple turnovers, so Tecumseh prevailed in Class 1A. It was close throughout. It's been the case here in 2A. Nelson works again, recovers his own, and you can count it.
Oh, really nice job there. Jeff Nelson really stuck with it, got the first one blocked. Was just able to regather. Let's take a look inside again. He looks to get it inside. And it's good defensive effort there by Paoli. Another good pump fake, the hoop and the harm. Now he gets a one-shot opportunity.
Foul is on Van Emmen, Derek Van Emmen, his second, and the team's second for the Rams. Nelson fails to reach double figures. He has 9 in this game for Westview. They lead by 6. Travis Cole gets tripped up at the timeline. Fouls going on Eric Yoder. The first on the Warriors here in the second half. Much different pace in this game as to what we witnessed in the 1A game, but again, that was by design. Tecumseh, very deliberate team with their offense. There you see the numbers from the floor this quarter. Travis Cole leaves it short. Mark Miller tries to gather and finds Eric Yoder, who loses it. Over and back is the call. Westview fans wanting the foul. Eric thought he was hounded, but not the case as the Rams gain the possession. And they get Hostetler, I believe, over Kimmel. If that's the case, that's Hostetler's third.
Yeah, good call there by the official. That is third for Scott Hostetler. Westview almost came up with that loose ball. But as you can see, Scott Hostetler comes right over the back, and it was a good call by the official.
Top scorers for both teams now, each with 3 fouls. Joby Stevenson against a double team. Wow. Forces that bucket through.
Able to use his size and the big body. Nice soft touch.
Second field goal of the game for Stevenson. He has 4. Rams trail by that many. Under 4 minutes left to play here in the third quarter.
Oh, boy, what great hustle by the Paoli kids.
Mark Miller had an opening for a moment, but sealed off quickly by a trio of Rams. This is Luke Kimmel on the drive. And he walked. Against a triple team, that's a difficult proposition for anyone.
Yeah.
2 Warriors check in. And Dusty Cole comes back for the Paoli Rams.
Take a look at the good effort here. Actually, it looked like it was his own man there. Joby Stevenson kind of got his hand in on that ball.
Jason Yoder and Mike Christner now into the game for the Westview Warriors. Their lead is 4 with 3.5 left to play here in the third quarter. And keep in mind, 41, Hostetler, their top scorer, is playing now with 3 fouls. Van Emmen secures for the Rams, trying to cut this to a 2-point game. Travis Cole will take that shot. And we have an offensive foul.
Looks like it was on Joby Stevenson, it looks like.
It is.
Got him for wrapping around with the off arm. Kind of got a little chicken wing out there, just battling for position.
Mike Brown not at all happy with that call. Still a close affair. His team down by 4. Westview with the basketball. They're in red. Christner with the ball, just checked into the game. And the scrappy play has really turned up a notch here in the second half. A few turnovers in succession, and we have a timeout. 2:45 left to play here in the third quarter. The Class 2A state championship still up for grabs. Westview on top by 4, 36-32. Mike Brown, his 11th year at Paoli High School, the head coach there. Listen to this success. 7 of Paoli's 21 sectional titles in school history have come under his tenure as head coach. Hostetler to the bucket. But they call it a charge, and that will be his 4th foul.
Wow.
This could be pivotal.
That's a critical call there for Westview now. First of all, you've got to get Scott Hostetler out of this ball game.
Dusty Cole to the bucket, and they bring it the other way with a charging foul. Well, both head coaches were jawing at the officials during the timeout.
And that's consistent refereeing. That's what you ask for if you're a coach. If you're going to call it close, you call it on both ends. And I think these officials have done a wonderful job here this afternoon of officiating, I think, a really tough game to call because so much aggressive full court pressure defense.
These teams are twins almost with their approach to the game, and each leading scorer now for each team is on the bench. Hostetler with 4 fouls for Westview. Kristen Vance remains in purgatory for Paoli. He's with 3 fouls. Westview leading by 4 with 2:21 left to play here in this third quarter. 13 turnovers for the Rams in this game. 8 for the Westview Warriors. Travis Cole trying to find the seam. Evan Seacat lets one fly. Nelson rebounds. Now look at this pass to Adam Bontrager. Transition in the easiest form. Now a 6-point lead for Westview. Bontrager released. No one followed on the shot. Nelson alertly found his man. Bontrager's first 2 points in this game. Van Emmen follows and answers with a 3.
Well, finally, Paoli able to get a 3-point shot down. Van Emmen with a nice stroke. And again, after the made bucket, Westview got the ball out, got it up quickly, looked for a good opportunity, and now they're going to have a 2-shot foul.
Bontrager was back down the floor again quickly, and Van Emmen, who drains a 3, commits his 3rd foul. It's team foul number 5 on the Rams. Adam goes to the line. He scored his first 2 points. Averages 6 per game. 62% foul shooter. He's a junior guard. Had 7 points, very key off the bench against Bremen last weekend. This Westview team advanced to the finals by defeating the defending 2A champion Alexandria by 3 last week. The Warriors hit some clutch threes late to hold off Garth Cohn's team. They went 5 of 15 from three-point range and have had their struggles in that category in this game here today, yet they lead by 5. David McDonald with the basketball. Stolen away. Another open look.
Oh, boy, that's a big-time three. For Westview, they're still applying a lot of pressure. That's where the services of Scott Hostetler. Really nice job, again, taking care of the basketball. So critical when you get to this stage. State championship game in the third quarter.
That was Jason Yoder's first basket of the game, a three-pointer. Cole missed, and Bontrager clears for the Warriors. Look at McDonald get after it. Nelson on the feed, can't find it. And surprisingly, no whistle in that sequence.
Pretty physical ball game underneath. Referees letting these kids get after it. And both teams willing to play it somewhat physical. Good ball game to watch. And Paoli really needs to come down, get some good quality looks.
They beat the buzzer at halftime with a key bucket. This is Christner from the corner. Cleared by Nelson. There's still time on the clock.
Well, he's done a wonderful job on both ends of the glass, both offensively and defensively. That was a nice second chance opportunity. Jeff Nelson able to put back in.
Nelson gives the Warriors a 10-point lead. Dusty Cole responds by drawing a foul with just under 2 seconds here before the third quarter expires. Adam Bontrager, you see on your screen there, has been a nice spark for this team.
Yes, he certainly has done a wonderful job. 1.7, not much time.
Seacat tried to guide it to the bucket, but the horn sounds. 3 quarters complete. Largest lead of the game for the Westview Warriors. It's 10. We're back after this, the Class 2A state finals. Westview's largest lead of the game is 11 points at 16-5. This is their second largest margin at 10 points as the fourth quarter gets underway. Time to check in with Bob Lovell.
Ron, I know you've been anxiously awaiting to hear what that black sock's all about. After the Northwood ball game that Westview won earlier in the year in overtime, the kids took it upon themselves to use that black sock as a reminder to play hard and play tough, be mentally tough, and play as hard as they can play. Exactly what Troy Neely's telling his kids in the huddle at the end of the quarter. If they'll continue to play hard defensively and go right at Paoli offensively, they'll be the state champions.
Christner to the hole. He finishes.
Boy, Westview now starting to pour it on. Paoli really needs to try and find a way to get Tristan Vance some touches down the stretch here without forcing it. And then you're going to have to make a couple of those outside shots. They had a pretty good look here this last time down, just was not able to get it to go down. But eventually you're going to have to make a shot from behind the stripe.
Michael Harmon tried to find Tristan Vance.
But certainly that's the guy you want to touch the ball if you can every time down. It's Tristan Vance that time. He picks up the foul.
31, Derek Yoder in for the Warriors.
Derek Yoder checks in for Westview. Foul is on Randy Miller.
Hoop +1. Nice out of bounds play. The big fella just gets it, puts it in the air, never brings it down. He does an excellent job of positioning the basketball above his head. Watch when he catches it, he never brings it down. Just straight back up the hoop and the harm.
Tristan Vance with 1 shot.
They mark Nelson with the foul. That's his second. Team foul number 6 on Westview. And immediately, since being on the bench the majority of the second half, Vance comes alive, putting points on the board. It's now a 10-point game. It was 12 a moment ago, the largest deficit for the Rams this entire effort.
Paoli's no stranger to coming back in ball games. They've done it twice last weekend. These kids will continue to get after this Westview Warrior Ball Club, so they must take care of the basketball.
George, they forced 6 turnovers in the final 10 minutes last Saturday night to upset the #1 team in this class, Monrovia. So they get it done in the fourth quarter. They have turned it up, as you mentioned. This is Dusty Cole who finds it.
14, Dusty Cole.
Dusty Cole has 7 in this game, and just like that on cue, true to form, here come the Rams with another steal. But Cole gives it right back, only to be recycled to his teammate out top, Luke Kimmel. 47-39, Westview leading. 6 minutes left to play for the Class 2A state championship. Tecumseh won in Class A earlier, upsetting the defending state winners from a year ago. Jeff Nelson working down low against Tristan Vance.
Nelson's been the man for Westview.
He has 13 now to lead all scorers for the Warriors.
On top of the good defensive and rebounding effort that he has displayed today, he has been the prime-time performer.
Back to double digits. McDonald misses right under the bucket.
Jeff Nelson with another rebound. Paoli only getting one opportunity look. So those are the ones that you have to make count in the fourth quarter.
It's simply too easy. A mismatch there as Nelson converts again. 15 points for Jeff Nelson. The average is just 11 per game. He's not even their top scorer. That is Scott Hostetler,
who's on the bench
with foul trouble. 4 at this time. The Warriors force a timeout. Paoli wants to talk about it. We'll take a timeout as well. Just over 5 minutes left to play. The Class 2A state championship. Westview on top, 51-39.
First session,
12,157 on hand for the morning session of this state finals championship Saturday.
We know that this Paoli team has come back twice over last weekend, but one of the things they can't do here in the fourth quarter is let this lead get too wide. Now, Westview's been able to stretch it out to 12 points here. And you really can't stand to get it too much further than that, because that would take a supreme effort here with just about 5 minutes to go in this ball game.
Kimmel missed it at the cup. Well, we mentioned last week for Paoli, they upset the top 2 ranked teams in Class 2A, in each case driving to double overtime to secure victory. Trailed by margins of 7 and 5 respectively in the final 2 minutes of those games. But the key against the top-ranked team, Monrovia, forcing turnovers, and we've seen glimpses of that here, but Nelson has been too much.
He certainly has. I mean, he has just really dominated inside play, both in terms of scoring, defensively, and rebounding. And Vance Tristan has had a little bit tougher go of it, picked up some early fouls, went out earlier in the second quarter, and really has not been real effective here in the third and fourth quarters yet.
There you see the 4th foul on Derek Van Emmen. He exits to the bench. And Nelson continues with a terrific day. 16 points now, tops in this game. He's their leading rebounder, but not their leading scorer. That's 41, Hostetler, who is back into the game, playing with 4 fouls. And you knew when he left early with his 4th foul, someone would have to step up. This is Kimmel from outside the arc.
Boy, one-shot opportunity is all Paoli's getting. Sweet little behind-the-back pass. Tristan Vance picks up, I think, his 4th foul there.
That's 4. With just over 4 minutes left to play.
Looking up the court, move behind the back pass there by Mark Miller. Tristan Vance over the back, and again, Westview with an opportunity to extend this lead even further.
Nelson has 8 of their last 10 points. It's the largest lead of the game for them at 14. One more would make it pretty secure margin with just 4:19 left to play.
Well, you never say never, but it makes it awful tough now for Paoli to make up the 14-point differential here in 4 minutes, 16 seconds.
Michael Harmon tries his luck. Dusty Cole with the offensive rebound. What a nice feed into Tristan Vance for the easy two. Vance has reached double figures with 10. Hostetler having all kinds of trouble, now finds Miller. Derek Yoder thought about it. Guess who? Jeff Nelson.
Excellent movement of the basketball. Good decision making. Finding the open man. Right now you don't need points. You just need to milk the ball. But boy, they are turning up the heat on this Paoli team.
Ordinarily, you get a rebound like that, you pull it out, but this team has been anything but gun shy from the get-go.
Defensive pressure of Westview has caused a ton of problems for Paoli.
Listen to the round of applause for Jeff Nelson as Jeff fought and gives relief. Nelson has been the story here in the second half. 10 of their last 12 for Westview. Warriors retain possession. Smart play by Miller in the corner. Just over 3 minutes left to play. 16-point lead for the men in red, the Westview Warriors. First ever trip to the state finals. Mark Miller with the runner.
Mark Miller's got a little acrobatic moves. 7 points there for him.
Van Emmen left it short. Dusty Cole responds with the offensive rebound and the score, and Mike Brown wants a 20-second timeout. Can't say enough about Jeff Nelson picking up the slack. Hostetler found the bench in his 4th foul. Tristan Vance, remind you too, is playing with 4 fouls at this point, but the 252, that is almost a non-entity for the concerns of Mike Brown. You got to go from here on out. Team trailing by 16.
Well, I'll tell you, Westview had a little emotional lift with a big 3-pointer right before halftime, and they've really carried that emotion over into the second half of play as we see Mark Miller make a very athletic move again to load up on that lead that they're enjoying in this ball game.
Nearly stolen by Dusty Cole.
Two things I think this game has been about Jeff Nelson in the second half, which we talked about, but I think it's also been about the unrelenting defense of this Westview team that has caused so many turnovers, which has been able to be converted into points for them. Those two things, Nelson and the defense, have played big dividends this afternoon.
Now we'll see if they start to recognize the time is on their side as opposed to looking to score right away. Westview been excellent ball handlers all day long, protecting the basketball. This is Spot who looks to score, and just like Nelson, he remains on track with the same rhythm. How often do you replace a guy and inherit the same kind of game he's had? I believe that's Spot's first 2 in this game.
See, the lack of getting no 3-point looks and converting them has, I think, really hurt Paoli. Basically, Westview has been able to stack in the defense, put a lot of pressure on Tristan Vance. When you don't hit that outside shot, that defense never has to loosen it up on the inside, and that's been the case here this afternoon.
Bontrager and Jason Yoder back in for the Westview Warriors. Hostetler again troubled on the baseline, trying to inbounds, wisely calls a timeout. Just over 2 minutes left to play in this Class 2A affair. 61 to 43. Westview has really expanded their lead here in the 4th quarter. We'll take a break. We're back with the conclusion after this, the Class 2A state championship from the RCA Dome. Westview feeling good, up 18 with 2:10 left to play. Ron Sexton, George McGinnis, and On the baseline, Bob Lovell.
One thing Troy Neely telling his ball club in the huddle at this timeout, obviously take care of the basketball, step to every pass and be tough, but George can appreciate this. A lot of times, coaches who are great scorers, their teams don't necessarily play well defensively. I think Troy Neely's kids have the tremendous balance. They've done a great job defensively, and they also had that coach's scoring mentality.
Well, that's an excellent point. These kids have, I think defense have played a huge role in the fact that they're going to be state 2A champions. Of course, they've had a great effort from Jeff Nelson, as we said earlier, but certainly the defense has caused havoc for Paoli.
Jason Yoder at the line for the Warriors, adding to the lead. Now 19. Yoder hit a big bucket in this game. Jason averages 5 per game and can meet that average right here, and he does. Dusty Cole from the corner. Seacat with the nice follow.
24, Evan Seacat.
It was all in one hand and one motion for Evan Seacat. Paoli takes a 22nd timeout. First ever finals appearance by any LaGrange County school, and that's where Westview is located, LaGrange County. Other first-timers here too, because tonight we'll see Muncie Southside here for the first time ever. They'll close Plainfield with their first ever finals appearance in Class 3A. That's a 3A game in Class 4A. The Elkhart Central Blue Blazers making their 6th trip to the state finals, yet nothing to show for it in terms of championships. They'll take on Indianapolis North Central, and we'll get another good look at Jason Gardner. Many have already given him the Mr. Basketball moniker, given his heroics last week in the semi-state. There you see percentage from the floor this quarter, and well, no surprise when you correlate that with the final score, or the score at present. 1:45 left to play. Big bucket there by Travis Cole. 63-48, our count right now. We'll take a timeout. We're at the RCA Dome where the Westview Warriors are trying to secure their Class 2A state title with 1:45 left to play. $15-point advantage for the Westview Warriors. Just under 2 minutes left to play. This is the Class 2A game, the second of 4 championships here today at the Dome. 5-second call against Hostetler.
Paoli's able to make some things happen here in this last couple of minutes, and also getting some three-point looks and making them. He could have started this effort a little bit sooner. Really have a ball game as we take a look at the three-point shooting. Neither ball club shot it well, but that's the second in a row for Paoli.
Evan Seacat cuts it down to a 13-point deficit. One thing is certain, given their resume of comeback, especially last week in the semi-state, they will not quit. They have just one timeout left. This is Nelson back in the game on the block, but double team.
These Paoli kids have really played their hearts out. Even though they won't win this one, they have nothing to be ashamed of. They represented their school and their town.
Paoli in the white is the larger of the two schools by just over 100 students or so. And again, they've had success in the tournament in the past. They made their 6th trip to the semi-state this year, but this is the only time they've advanced to the state final. Meanwhile, Westview.
Well, that's quite an accomplishment. I mean, this school has been around since 1905. At least it's been a member of the ISHAA. And again, the kids have played hard. They won't be able to get it done here this afternoon. But they have given a maximum effort. And I think that's all you can ask for from these young men, is that they play hard. And that's what they've done today.
Dusty Cole leans in, hoping to draw the whistle, but returns Warrior basketball. Warriors' first ever trip to the state finals. It was likewise for Tecumseh, the 1A champion. Scott Hostetler, who has battled foul trouble in this game, will inbounds, and it's a nice breakaway from Christner. This is Nelson.
So fitting that Nelson is just finishing this game the way he started, especially here in the second half. Good hands and good finishes.
And look who's back toward the bucket. Derek Yoder gets this one to drop. Nelson has 21 in this game. Derek Yoder has 9 points. Warriors look to hold and savor the moment.
The Westview Warriors, Class 2A state champions. One that's well deserved.
Troy Neely wants a timeout.
Well, he's trying to get his reserves in, and you know, you're up by this many points, you like to see the clock run on out, but he wants to get a few kids in that hadn't played. This is a 22nd, but this was a tremendous effort by this Westview ball club. They played long from the bench, got great contributions from a lot of players. Jeff Nelson done a great job, and their defensive pressure was just excellent this afternoon.
One writer regarded Westview as a great shooting team, saying that their jump shots were as sweet as the youth throws they make up in LaGrange County.
Well, tonight it wasn't so much about jump shots, but the inside play of Jeff Nelson, and of course the tenacious defense that created many turnovers.
(71-52). Westview High School on the map officially in Class 2A. The team that a lot of people didn't know much about. They said to the Westview fans that this team was like the Chicago Bulls to their fans up in the midst of Amish country, and that you would see 60 or 70-some buggies at every home game, a strong Amish following, and look at the following they have here today. It'll be a sweet ride back.
Well, all of these teams, Ron, brought tremendous fan support, and that's what this is all about. And as you look at the reaction of the Westview fans and the great enthusiasm that they've showed, they deserve to win this ball game because of the tremendous effort and the excellent play of a lot of people from that Westview ball club.
Bob Lovell standing by with the winning head coach.
Troy Neely, congratulations on a tremendous effort for your kids in winning this state title.
Thank you. I thank God right now. He has blessed me so much. These players right here, I don't know if I'll ever get another group like them. They are the ones that got it done on the court, but God has really blessed me, and I couldn't feel any better than I do right now.
Well, you get a lot of them back. What we don't realize, it's a young team, but it's a team that's grown up together. These juniors have started as freshmen, and they've really matured, and you can see how poised and composed they were tonight, or this afternoon.
Yeah, Nelson came forward in that second half and played big time. Our seniors, Scott Hosteller and Michael, they are the ones that provide that chemistry that we need. Randy Miller came in and hit a big three off the bench. He's a senior. He played big. And Dwayne Weaver, he's the only guy on the team that I won't be able to replace next year. He's a kid that doesn't play much. He's got the best attitude of anybody. I hope he wins the Trester Award because he deserves it.
Big key was your defense.
That's been our key all year. And we saw on tape that Paoli hasn't played against the kind of the traps and the pressure that we use all the time. So we felt that we could hurt him with it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll now pause for the announcement
The
of the
recipient of this award, while a student in 12th grade, was nominated by the principal and coach. Excelled in mental attitude, athletic ability, scholarship, and leadership during the 4 years of high school. Participated as a state finalist in this sport and was selected by members of the IHSA Executive Committee. This year's recipient is from Paoli High School, Luke Kimmel.
congratulations to Luke Kimmel, senior forward at Paoli High School. Certainly tender times and a losing effort here today. Tight end on the football team, terrific contributor here to the basketball team. Paoli on the wrong end as Westview captures the 2A state crown.
He's the winner of the 1999 Arthur L. Trust Award, Mental Attitude and Boys Basketball 2A, Luke Kimmel. Luke, obviously can't take away the hurt from losing the championship, but congratulations.
Thank you. I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, I think it takes one of the two teams that gets here, one of their players receives this award. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Well, I certainly wouldn't have gotten here without any single one of my players, teammates, coaches, every fan. It's just unbelievable. I feel like, you know, this isn't really mine. This is everybody from Paoli.
Well, it's also a tribute to you and your parents for a lot of hard work and dedication to be to this point.
Yeah, my parents have done a great job. I love them very much. I love all my family, all my friends, and I think all the surroundings, you know, have kind of made me and all my teammates, you know, pretty good people. And I think, you know, this is kind of a contribute to that and back home.
Luke Kimmel, the Arthur L. Trust Award winner, Boys Basketball 2A, will be back for the post-game celebration here after the 2A championship.
The 1999 Boys Basketball State Championships has been brought to you by New Region Corn Insecticide and the One Pass System. From now on, this is how it's done. By Balanced Pre-Corn Herbicide, weeds don't get a second chance. By Anderson Windows, worry-proof, time-proof Anderson Windows. And by Cargill, an international marketer, processor, and distributor of agricultural, food, financial, and industrial products.
71-52 our final score. We're midway through Championship Saturday at the RCA Dome. Tecumseh, our state champion in Class A, and in 2A, the Westview Warriors advance. Here's our forward play of the game. Jeff Nelson, a game-high 21 points, George.
Yeah, he certainly was. What a great performer he was this afternoon as we see two of those 21. And, boy, he made a difference, especially in the second half with his outstanding play for the Westview Warriors.
The roar is for the Westview Warriors, and again, terrific game throughout. Coming up tonight, we'll have more outstanding basketball. 3 and 4A tonight. In 3A, it's Muncie Southside. The Rebels will oppose Plainfield at 25-1. An outstanding player, Gavin Groniger. And in 4A tonight, North Central will oppose Elkhart Central. Special thanks to Bob Lovell. And for George McGinnis, I'm Ron Sexton, inviting you back this evening for the rest of Championship Saturday at the RCA Dome on the IHSAA State Network.